What's up? What's up? This is kind of important. Little live right now. Spontaneous, very important. And this is what I'm going to be talking about right now is pretty much just fresh in my mind. It just happened. It's very peculiar, and I would very much so appreciate other people's input. Right. All right, so a little bit of background or whatever. This today I have a toothache that's pretty bad, right? It's pretty bad toothache, right? It's so bad, right? It starts throbbing, wow, throbbing, more and more and more, and then I breathe wrong and air hits it or whatever, just right and whatever, and it brought me to tears, right? I was crying. It hurt so bad, right? Okay, so that's very important to what I'm talking about here, because I want to know if if this emotion, right? So, but the wave of emotion, right, that followed, I started thinking about, my my fallen homies, my friends that have passed away, my really good friends, and then I started crying again, right? I got real sentimental and emotional, right? And then all of a sudden, I just find myself weeping, like weeping, right? And and then I'm like, so about 2 minutes of that goes by, right? And then I think to myself, I'm like, oh man, it's so sad what happened to Rishi. It's so sad what happened to Curtis, dude. Like, they were so young, they were my best friends. And I was like, got emotional, and then I all of a sudden, spontaneously, I'm weeping. I'm like, what am I? Why am I so sad? Like, I thought that. Why am I so sad right now? And then just at that moment, this idea popped into my head that frequency weapons were being used, right? And just at that moment, I look up and there is a freaking bird right face to face to me. Like I look over and it's face to face to me on this ledge, dude. And it scared the living daylights out of me, right? So I'm like really emotional out of nowhere. I had this crazy toothache, right? And then I start getting first I have the toothache, and then I start getting really emotional. And then I think to myself, why am I so sad right now? And then just as that second, I think, frequency weapons or frequency, they're raining frequencies down and they're fucking with me right now. And right then I stop and I look to my left, and there's a freaking bird literally like 2 feet away from me, face to face. And it scares me, right? And I'm like, holy shit. And it flies off or whatever. And I'm like, oh my freaking goodness, right? I don't know why, but my spidey sense tells me that they are using frequency weapons. I just start crying out of nowhere. Early, I start thinking about all this sad. My friends like passed away, young guys, my best friends. When we were younger, and I just get real sad. And then I'm like, why am I so sad right now? I'm bawling. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about it. I spend about a minute or two really wallowing in my friends passing and stuff. And this, my friends passed a long time ago, but it's just so sad because they were my best friend. And then I'm like, why am I so sad right now? And I'm crying. And then I stop, I look up and I think frequencies. And then I look to my left and there's this bird, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. I had a heart attack, dude. I almost had a heart attack. Anyway, I had to, and then I immediately, you can see this just happened, bro. And I immediately had to come say something because I was like tripping, dude. If that, anybody think of anything like that? Like, what's the chances I think of frequency weapons, right? And then I look up and there's a freaking bird right there, and I'm already suspicious of birds, right? This weird looking bird was just right there. It was a dove. It was a dove. And you know, I don't know, man. I was just like, I was thinking, is me thinking about my friends natural? Was I naturally thinking about my friends and getting emotional, or was I being hit with some type of frequency weapon to see if they could make me cry out of nowhere? I I really don't know, because why would, I don't know. I can't explain that. I can't explain how those coincidences of me thinking frequency weapons and then bird, bah, bah. I'm like, ah, and the bird's like, bah, bah, and then fucking flies off, dude. Oh, bro. And so, okay, obviously, so you know what I did then? I was like, okay, I'm not crying anymore now. Obviously, like that, that kind of ruined it, ruined the moment, right? It ruined it. I'm not crying anymore. And I was like, make me cry again. And that's what I said. I said, make me cry again. And then all of a sudden, my tooth starts throbbing, dude, so bad that I fucking cry, dude. That it fucking was. My tooth is on another level, like 15 minutes ago, dude, with this throbbing, and it's just a really peculiar last hour and a half of events, and I'm tripping. I'm kind of tripping out. I want to know if I am emotional because I'm emotional thinking about my homies, or if I'm being bombarded with frequencies that you know. So okay, yeah. So the main thing I want to tell everybody to be mindful of your emotions, right? If you're finding yourself getting very mad, very emotional, if you can think of that, think of stop, and I'm in the moment and think of it, and then chill out, like, because that's exactly what happened. The second I thought of frequency weapons being bombarded, I'm like, oh well, they can't, and I stopped crying, like, I stopped being emotional, I stopped. So it tells me that I have some type of control over my faculties, my mind as well. Still, they don't have control. Like, I want to know, hi, how's it going, everybody? How's it going? I want to know, and I know we're never going to get it. I want confirmation, right? You know what? I don't need confirmation. I already know. I don't need confirmation. I already know that they're freaking blasting us with frequencies. Silent weapons for quiet wars, which is suspicious as well. They found that they found a document called "Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars" in a freaking Xerox machine left somewhere in some office, and it turns out to be some diabolical freaking framework or blueprint for some freaking crazy futuristic frequency weapon. And I truly 100% believe, like, whether the paper under the Xerox machine was put there on purpose or whether it was an accident, that what's in the papers I believe is coming true. I believe there are frequency weapons. Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so what just happened to me, right? Just about an hour, like this past hour. All right, I'll tell you again, dude. It's pretty wild. It's why it was wild to me in the time. So, all right, so I have a toothache today, and today has been kind of miserable, right? My tooth is throbbing, and I'm so helpless, right? So I'm like I'm practically crying, right? So after my tooth like settles down, I start thinking about my friends that passed away. My friend Curtis, my best friend Curtis, passed away in 2015, and then Rishi passed away in 2021. And I started getting really emotional, and I started weeping, crying, right? Right after my tooth stopped throbbing, right? And then I'm weeping for about 2 minutes, and then all of a sudden I think to myself, why am I so sad? Like, why am I so sad right now? Yes, my friends passed, and it was a long time ago, but why am I so sad right now? And then all of a sudden, it pops into my head, frequency weapons. You're being bombarded, frequency. And then I'm like, oh man. And I turn to my left, and there's a freaking bird, a pigeon, or a bird right there, 2 feet away from me, face to face on the little ledge right there. And I'm like, ah, and the bird's like, bah, and it fucking flew off and shit. And I'm like, what? The second I think about frequency weapons, I freaking go face to face with some freaky, weird-looking bird, I'm already suspicious of the birds, right? I'm already suspicious. I don't know about the birds, right? So I kind of freaked out. I was like, holy shit, am I being made to be emotional right now? Is there a freaking drone blasting me with fucking frequency weapons right now? Making me emotional, testing their whatever they can, or am I, naturally thinking of my friends and having a moment and, being emotional? Or am I being emotional because my tooth already hurts? Like, I want to know why I was weeping so much all of a sudden. And then why all of a sudden frequency weapons popped in my head. That's why I'm weeping so much. And then right when I did that, I looked to my left and there's a freaking weird looking bird face to face with me. And I go, ah, and the bird goes, bah, and it fucking, it was dude, it was not cool. And, I don't know. All I needed was for some freaking piece of metal to pop out of that bird's brain or something, antenna. Bzzz. Dude, that would have done it. I would be in the psycho ward. Your boy would be gone, man. Because that's what I think, dude. I think we're being blasted with frequency weapons. If it's not pigeons and birds and stuff, it's our phones, right? It's our phones, dude. Why would they make the batteries? You can't get to the batteries anymore. Remember back in the day, right, when we had our flip phones, our Sprint phones, click, and it would be like click, like it would open up and it'd be. Remember, you could mess with the batteries. You could take the batteries out. You could change the batteries. Dude, they made that not possible, right? You can't do that anymore. Why? Probably because there's some freaky weird technology in there that can hurt us. Whether it's frequency weapons or explosives, man, I don't know. Am I being paranoid? Maybe. Has anybody experienced anything like that, similar? Because I'll tell you what, that was a weird experience for me. Either it was like some type of coincidence, and I don't believe in coincidences, or I am a spiritual being and I sensed that shit. Which, I don't know why, but I like, I can't. Sensing stuff is not my I'm not too good at anticipation, I'm a very like upfront, step by step type dude. Being it's hard for me to think ahead at a time, Anyway, thanks for listening. Maybe if something similar happened to you like that, you can tell me about it or let me know, because that was kind of weird. Have you ever thought of like it's the same thing. People think of somebody. Oh, I think of my friend, and then they get a phone call from him. It's kind of like that. Only it's like discernment for diabolicalness. I have good discernment for the diabolical things that are going on all around me at all times, right? And who gives us discernment? The Almighty Creator, whoever put me here, man, He gave me discernment. Why am I here? Whoever put me here gave me that discernment. I don't know, or maybe I'm a lunatic, right? Maybe I'm a lunatic, but I'm not violent, so that's cool. I'm funky, not a junkie, but I know where to get it. Anyway, does anybody ever worry about the chemtrails and the nanobots and the chemtrails? Because there are tiny little self-organizing machines in the chemtrails, in the freaking chemtrails that they're spraying on us constantly. You notice that you look outside and there's clouds being crisscrossed and stuff, and those aren't clouds, right? They're not. It's not water either. It's not freaking condensation. It is straight up nanobots. Straight up nanoswarms being freaking black. Dude, they are literally spraying us with nanobot swarms. Swarming I'm not even kidding, right? So all of a sudden, there's this like white film all over the cars and stuff like that. I know I'm here where I'm at in the desert. It's really dusty and stuff like that. But what is this white crusty film? That is on the cars. Nanobots, nanobots. Anyway, all right, that's all for me.